What's up, everybody? Hanging here with Mark and Dougie, man. 2 weeks is gone. We have more news. And listen, guys, we do this for you guys and us. So if you like the show, please watch, please share, make comments. We can only make the show better if you tell us what you like and what you don't like. And, but believe it or not, me and Dougie care. But obviously, we care a little bit. So if you have some comments, come out there and let us know. And we'll
just a little bit.
We care.
Just
exactly,
a little bit.
Exactly.
Just care a little bit. Un poquito. Un poquito. Yeah.
So watch and share, man. We've got, we have several thousand people watching it now, and we want to make the audience bigger, man. That's what we always want to do. And listen, man, we're going to get right to it because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And the first thing is, Biden said about a year ago, running the country was like riding a bicycle. And now I see he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
He said it's easy as riding a bike. And you know what? He's right. He's crashed the economy and he crashed his bike. So, he's kind of got a good point,
It's yeah, look at this fucking dope. Hey, everybody, it's me, the leader of the free nation. I'm okay. I don't have any problem.
I can watch that over and over, dude. And I get it. It can happen to you. It could happen to me. I get it. It could. It never has, but it could. I get it. But it's just the fact that everything happens to this guy all the time, dude. He's just lost. He just has no clue where he's at. And I kind of feel bad for him in a way, man, because, they put him in that situation. But then I think about some of the stories that are coming out. Later on, we'll talk about a story with him and his daughter. Matter of fact, it's coming up next. So you kind of feel bad and then you don't feel bad because if some of this stuff is true, man, wow. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And that's the story we'll get to next is, his daughter came out and said that they like to shower together, like Bert and Ernie, he was like Bert and Ernie. They were showering together. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. That's not too normal today. That's pretty weird shit right there.
I mean, who hasn't slept with their mom or their dad up until the age of maybe like 10 or 12? I mean, they never said the age, but for it to be inappropriate. I mean, again, I never had any kids.
A shower and sleeping next to somebody in a bed and a shower with somebody over a certain. I mean, I wouldn't shower with my baby. It's just not right, dude. You don't
there's
shower.
an age where there's got to be an age as a parent you can take a bath with your child, and you want to be maybe they're 2 or 3 years old, and then that's it.
That's what the mom does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think your dad at any time, any shape, should be bathing with their daughter. I don't think so. And then who knows if it's true? I mean, we don't know if it's 100% true, but
no, it's true. The daughter. No, wait, hold on a second. Don't be liberal. The daughter said, in her
Did you say to Mark Calamari, don't be liberal?
Yeah, because you're like trying to defend the creep. So
no, I will never defend. Listen, I will never defend this.
Well, let me put in my 2 cents.
Yeah,
I would say so. It's in her diary, and in her diary, amongst everything else, she wrote this. She's talking about how sexually charged she is, and how she was a whore in high school, and she was getting gangbanged and stuff. So. And then it may not have been appropriate for the showers with my dad. I mean, first of all, just the fact showers with dad. I mean, how many women can say, tell me about some of the showers you had with your dad? I mean,
it's not the norm. It's not the norm.
Whenever it did, if it's normal, you probably don't have the recollection of it because you were too young to remember. You're a year old or 2 years old. You're still a baby.
When it's outlandish, you remember it. When it's outlandish, you know. And even kids know when things are wrong. I mean, if you watch videos of Joe Biden and he's sniffing and grabbing these little kids, there's one video where Biden's grabbing this maybe 13-year-old or 12-year-old around the chest. And she is squirming. She knows it's wrong. Like she's squirming and she's like she's appalled, and she's looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? So
he's a creepy bastard.
And that's that if it was normal, maybe she wouldn't have been a big deal in her diary if it was a normal thing, but it's not normal.
Yeah.
I always like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. That's why I said, I don't know 100% it's true because people do make shit up. I do. I believe it's true. I do because I see how creepy he is. So I believe it is. But I always like to start off by saying, it's two people's word. But I'm sure Biden's going to say he didn't do it, and daughter is going to say she did do it. So I always give the benefit of the doubt. But me personally, I think just seeing some of the shit that this guy has done, I wouldn't put it past him.
Okay. So, I believe it. I think she wrote it. I think the whole family's fucked. A few weeks ago, a fellow comedian said, you know, who's a liberal, said to me, "Oh, do you really think Biden eats babies and blood and all that shit?" And you know, when more you hear about this, the more you find out how fucking crazy this power wanted. You know what I mean? It's not unheard of. You know, if the world, if you're out there right now and you're looking at this show and listening to the news, you know, if you haven't realized by now that people have fucking lost their minds. So for anything to be believable or not, like if anybody ever said, "Hey, you know," that's when things perpetuate because you're like, that ain't happened. What are you talking about? You know, next thing you know, it's happening because people are fucking crazy. And you know what? People that have a lot of power and have a lot of things are even crazier because they've done everything. You know, they've done everything. You got money and power. You've done everything. So what's next? So it's not far fetched to believe the guy's banging his daughter and there's this weird fucking moment, whatever they're doing, you know. But getting back to his inabilities, like falling off the bike, like, you know what I mean? It's so funny because, you know, people talked about Trump when he was like shuffled down the way at the West Point, or it was Air Force, I think the graduation of the Air Force Academy or something. So, you know, here this guy is falling down. Trump never fell down Air Force One.
Oh,
you know, Trump never fell on his fucking bike. And I was reading somebody Facebook today is like, the orange CRISPR couldn't even get on a bike. Well, guess what? He's a fucking 77-year-old man. Don't get on a fucking bike. Rule the country. You know, do what you need to fucking do. You know, I haven't seen Biden fucking hit a par 4 on a fucking green monster. So, you know, listen, enough of this comparing. You know, the bottom line is if you're still making excuses for this fucking loser, you just anybody who keeps making excuses for this person, just realize you will go down as a more of an idiot than anybody who ever voted for Trump, because it's clear to everybody, even the Democrats are starting to go, we don't want anything to do with this guy. We don't want nothing to do with it.
And I'll be honest with you, I could care less if he rides a bike or doesn't ride a bike, or if he has ability. I mean, we had a president, Franklin Roosevelt, that was in a wheelchair. I could care less about that. It's his mind I'm worried about. I think it's funny because, you know, he thinks he's in all this great shape and all these things happen to him. He falls down staircases, he falls on bikes and all these things. He wanted to fight Trump. He can't even walk upstairs and falls off bikes. But, you know, it's not the point, because like I said, we had a president that was in a wheelchair that did great things. It's his mind has gone along with his, you know, physical and mental abilities are all gone. I mean, it's a complete package when you have Joe Biden.
Let's face it, he's not running the country. He's not running the country. It's a group of people that are trying to hold it all together as it falls apart amongst. And guess what? Again, the best part about it is now that you fooled the nation, you know, you got the January 6th thing going on. Interesting things happened, and you know what? I don't think anybody gives a shit about that. Well, number one, because number one, we watched Trump went through 4 years where it was a Russian collusion, all the impeachment, all this horse shit, which had nothing to help the American people. It only helped the power of the Democrats. That's all they gave a fuck. They didn't give a fuck about anything. So going through 4 years of that, and now there's nothing a Republican has to say. You just got to watch what the fucking guy's doing and go, look at this. Look how fucking thing. Oh, we didn't know there was going to be a baby formula shortage. You fucking shut down the country's largest baby formula. Your fucking government agency shut them down. You didn't fucking know? Were you too busy riding around the bike and finger banging your daughter? I mean, enough of this shit.
And a year later, he still wants to blame Trump and everybody else. You've been in office a year, man. It's not like you were handed a perfect dream. You were handed a dream. Gasoline was under $2 a gallon. The country was safer. We had a wall being built. We had no problems in Ukraine and not Ukraine, in Russia. We had no problems in China. We have so many problems now that we had zero before. And they say, oh, it could have happened to Trump. No, it couldn't have, because it didn't happen. It couldn't happen because it didn't happen. It's that simple. Right.
Enough of that nonsense. Speaking of Russia, our next story, but, you know, living in Florida, I don't know if you guys are nervous living in Florida, but Putin pretty much calls out Florida and Texas as potential nuclear strikes. You know, here's a little propaganda video of, you know, Putin says, Vutkin Putin, you know, Floritsky keys. And look at that.
Scary.
And this is the interesting thing about this. There's multiple warheads on a interballistic supersonic missile that could be now dropped, and you know, that looked like Florida. So, yeah, look at all the Russians happy. No more Florida. Thank you.
Yeah, it's scary.
By the way, intelligence says that he does have cancer, and it's probably stomach cancer that Putin is suffering from. Just remember, you heard it here first on the Hanging with Mark and Dougie show. It was stomach
And
cancer.
you're not hearing that anywhere else. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
I didn't hear it. That's crazy.
Who
And
does that
we'll see
comic
what
know? What does that fat
happens.
comic know anyway? Who does he know? Who does he think he is? He's not in the mafia. Yeah. So yeah, you worried? You worried living in Florida that you
Well,
may get nuked?
I mean, I'm just worried at the state of this country as it is. But besides that, that's one thing out of many things I'm worried about, man. I'm worried about a lot of things, and I'm worried about having a fair election. I'm worried to see if we can have a
Mm.
fair election in a couple of years, because they're going to find another way of mail-in voting or something where they're going to take the vote out of America's people's hands. I think, and we got to watch it,
Well, I
man. We
can.
got to stand.
Well, if there's any question this time, there will be a civil war. I can tell you right now. I know several well-rounded individuals that if anything like that happens again, and there's some sort of chicanery going on, they're going to go to the streets. And
I hope not.
you
I
know,
hope not because that's
that's
not fun either. But it's scary. But you know what? We got to do our jobs as Americans and watch what's going on. Not that you could stop it anyway, but we really have to watch and pay attention to what's going on, man. It's we need a fair election this time because
well.
there's no
What
possible.
could, well, let's make these people wake up. You have the Attorney General Merrick, who's now in Ukraine. They need all the help to he's got to that fucking moron's going to go to Ukraine and tell them how to cover war crimes. What kind of experience do you have covering war crimes? Well, I got a lot of parents in trouble because they didn't like what they were teaching in school. And now they're what they're doing in schools. This came out, but in schools, that if any child in elementary school or middle school doesn't use the proper pronouns, they could be expelled. Your kid's future in educational aspects can be now marked and have a permanent mark on it because they don't have the mental capacity to recognize if there's a boy who wants to be a girl or vice versa. So
There's no such thing as
this is
capacity on that. This is science, man. You're a boy or you're a girl, and it's that simple, man. There's no. You shouldn't have to listen. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do something that's not right. If I want to be a Filipino ballerina, I can't be it because I'm not. It's certain things you can't be in life. So I think it's all horse shit, and I'm hoping one
you
day
might be a good ballerina.
But one day, I'm hoping people will wake up and Americans will wake up and say, what the fuck has happened? I remember 20 years ago, 25 years ago, a guy wanted to work at Hooters and we all laughed like, you're a fucking dude, man. You can't work at Hooters, idiot. You can't.
Yeah.
Now it's like, of course he can. Why can't he? He's a mangina. He has a mangina. He can work anywhere he wants to work. It's like the country's.
You know what would be interesting? What would be interesting if they did win that concept, the real next thing would be like, okay, let the fucking duder work there. And you know what? Let's see what his tips are versus the chicks after the first month.
I know.
And let's see
about the tip. See how much business you do. People go to Hooters because they want to see a hot chick with orange pants.
Yeah.
We don't want to see a banana bulge in orange pants. If that happens and you start hiring, the food's not good enough at Hooters where you can have guys serving your food. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the chicken wings you eat. I'm like, holy fuck, this chicken wing's delicious. You're going there because there's a hot chick that is giving you the wings. Okay. You don't go to Hooters for any other reason but the women. So if you start hiring this, you're going to lose business. You're just going to lose business. And you shouldn't have to hire anybody you don't want to hire. You should hire the best person for your job and the one that makes the most sense for your job.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't care what they are.
Well, the world has spoken out when it comes to similar matters on this transgender, but International Swimming Federation bans trans women from competitions.
Good.
And boy, this got a lot of people riled up. Rapinoe, that the lesbian American U.S. Women's soccer national team player. She's how this is outrageous. This is horrible. Well, your limelight's closing. Your limelight's closing, Rapinoe. We all know you're going to be managing a Dick's Sporting Goods in the next 5 years. So just follow along the timeline.
But you know what's funny, Doug? We test sports for steroids. We test to make sure that no one has an unfair advantage. We test football. We test. The fuck is the difference if you take a steroid if you're a man playing a woman's sport? Why bother even testing for steroids then? And if that's the case, have an unfair advantage everywhere. What's the
Yeah.
difference if you're testing a 320-pound man against another 310-pound, see which one has steroids, if you're letting men compete with women? I mean, this
Hmm.
world has gone mad that you can't figure
Yep.
that out. And the same people that have no problem with this transgender swimmer have a problem with Barry Bonds shooting a needle up his ass. These same people, the same liberals, have a problem with Barry Bonds that don't have a problem with the other one.
First of
So
all, I
you
really
figure it
feel bad for Barry. I really feel bad for Barry Bonds if he was shooting his steroids right into his ass. It's an
out.
intramuscular
What do you
shot
shoot
that's
him? You shoot on
generally in
your
the.
okay, but it goes on your ass cheek.
Well,
It would be
if
technically
for anybody, if you ever did steroids, you usually change it up. You do the you do the the delts, then the butt cheek, and you move it around a little bit. But good news. I mean, enough of this. It's all it's the amazing thing. Hey, even Hillary Clinton, she flip flopped on this. She actually came out. She was all for the transgender thing, and she came out recently and said, this is really a lot of shit about nothing. You know what I mean? And before anybody talks about that it's listen, first of all, and if you're in that if a human being is in that situation, it's got to be a devastating situation to not know or feel comfortable with your sexuality. So whatever that is, whether it's something in the mind, whatever it is, right? It's
yeah.
not a norm. It's not a norm. You could say it's normal because it's happening, yes, but it's not a norm, and it's not something a human being should have to go through. If you should be born whatever it is you are, and who knows why it's happened? Could have been human interference? Could have been the fluoride? Can it be too much cheese pizza on your Little Caesars? I don't know what the fuck did it, but all I know is that it's a tragic thing to do. But guess what? These people need to be helped and watched for and stuff. But you should not tell other people to say, this is how you got to fucking deal with it. You know what I
Can I
mean?
just
This
say
is
something
not how
real
you,
quick? This is important. This is
yeah,
important. Because if it's the cheese, you better be careful because you eat a lot of cheese pizza, bro. And I don't
I
want to,
know.
look
I
up in a
know.
dress and lipstick. I hope it's not the cheese on the pizza. I'm just hoping it's not that, man. Because
If it
these
was,
are getting a little big. I don't know, man.
if it was, I'd be doing Dolly Parton impressions all week. Uh,
Exactly. Nah,
yeah.
but
So
like I said, man, the country's confused, man, and it's like it's how much we have hypocrites in the country. Like you said, we test for steroids, but we're okay with men competing with women. We don't want men beating up women, but we'll put a man in the ring with a woman. I mean, it's
yeah.
kind of ludicrous.
It's so much nonsense. And you know what? Here's the big thing. While everybody else is reading about transgender sports, Roe v. Wade, the people are ready to, and like I was saying, I didn't get to the point. It's okay for our justice system to allow people to protest outside the Supreme Court justices' homes, which is against the law because you can't do anything of a mob nature outside a justice's home to influence a decision. Yet, our current
Without
Attorney General, Merrick Garland, still allows it to happen. No one's being prosecuted. No one's being taken off the fucking streets or anything like that. And it's interesting. So, all that being said, while everybody's looking at this shit, we have a dinosaur killer asteroid that's just going to whiz by us on Earth. We got a huge sunspot on the sun right now and it's aimed at Earth, and there's these big huge coronal like sun flares that have been happening. While we're all worried about, oh, don't get mad at so and so, they like women, they like the weapon, next thing you know, you're gonna have a fried fucking microwave of heat just come through and just bury you. So you keep
we're not
worrying
going
about
to
what
know
you want
about
to
it, so it
worry about.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
well,
get it, man. I get it. I get it. No, I was being sarcastic with that. Like once it happens, we'll be gone. It won't matter.
hey,
But
go ahead, Mark. I was just say, let's get right to the shit because listen, part of the Hanging with Mark and Dougie show is some of these outrageous stories. Mark, let me ask you something. How far do you think you can throw a tortilla?
It's funny because we were talking about that. If it's not cooked, is it cooked or not cooked?
I'm
Because
guessing it's
cooked,
not cooked.
not cooked. Man, I gotta think if you throw it like the right way, like a playing card, I think I can get 45, 50 feet. I think. I'm gonna try
Okay.
it. I'm gonna bring one in. I think I can get 4. I can flip a card real far. You ever try and flip a card? I can
Yeah.
flip a card
Yeah.
really far. I think if you get it the right way into the wind the right way and you throw it, I think you can get 40 feet. I think you can get 40.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was a bit more impressed when I first read it because for some reason I was thinking of taco shell, not tortilla. The taco shell
Yeah.
would never go more than 8, 10 feet.
No,
But yeah, so it's almost like a frisbee in a sense, right? But a British man
exactly,
puts his
exactly.
a British man threw it 90 feet. I tossed it fucking 90 feet, mate. And
And
you know,
But who that it's funny, but who even thinks like, there's so many records like in the Guinness Book of Records, like who gives a fuck really when you think about it? I mean, it's kind of neat if it's a town, but would that town get you laid? Can you like throw like, hey, oh my God, that's the guy threw a tortilla 90
Yeah.
feet,
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm more impressed with some of the other, things that have happened in the Guinness, but I guess maybe I'm jealous because I can only throw 40 feet. Maybe that's the whole solution to it, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, so perhaps maybe you should go out and practice your tortilla
I'm
throwing.
going to. It's not
Um,
in the public at home.
yeah, when you get them, just let me know because I'm going to get some meat and some cheese and some tomatoes and some sour cream. I'm going to make a few extra
Listen, this is what
tortillas.
we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Next time you're here down in town, we're gonna do a little pre-podcast outside, and we're gonna throw the tortilla, me and you, and we're gonna have a competition for 10
Yeah.
bucks or something. We're gonna make it fun, and we're gonna
Yeah.
have it. And well, maybe we'll do the winner has to pay lunch, and we're gonna throw the tortilla and see between me and you who can
Who
win.
could throw it further? Well, congratulations to Oliver Miles, who won that contest. And hey,
Nice,
like you said, maybe
good
it
for
does get him
him.
laid. Maybe he goes to a
Yeah,
pub and goes, "Hey, love, you know how
yeah.
far I can throw a tortilla? It's pretty far, you know. You know what they say about guys who can throw it far." Um, Speaking of stupid, next show, a man who raps about robbing ATMs arrested for robbing an ATM. I love
That's
these
funny.
fucking stories. I don't know how they're going to
That's
catch us. They
hilarious.
can't catch us. You know what? But I got this really good idea about a rap song. Let's do it. We just robbed a Wells Fargo bank on the corner of 57 and 8th.
And we're going back tomorrow at 9. But it's funny, a lot of these and don't come because we're gonna be at the money and gone. But no, it's funny. That's how they catch a lot of these rappers. Actually, they catch a lot of these rappers because of that. Because of because if they talk in their raps and they
Yeah.
talk and that's murder. They've got murder victims before. They've gotten so many people
Mhm.
because these people are so stupid and tax evasion. The people holding $6 million in their trunk. It's like just keep it quiet. You would think just keep it quiet, just keep your business quiet and maybe you would not have any issues,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, no, stop giving these people advice. Let the stupid criminals keep letting this shit happen.
Ain't gonna listen to my
Yeah.
advice anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's true. No, most folks like this don't listen to anything.
Well, know what it
So
is? They
yeah.
they don't think it can happen to them. They're very blank because they don't think it can happen to them. I mean, some people do commit crimes on the internet. Like they film crimes. It's like they feel everything. Like they feel like it can't happen to them. That's the problem. I think that's the issue.
Yeah. Well, Darwin would be happy that this occurred. This is a sports story. You want to?
Yeah.
Looks like our boy who likes listen. I feel for Deshaun Watson because I love massages and I love Asian massages. And people say, "Why do you go to Asian massages?" I said, "Because they do it great. They don't they don't just go right and go to the tug. They it's a shiatsu deep tissue massage, and of course, a little spanking at the end isn't always so bad.
But I don't. Are they all Asian massages? I think they're all
No,
different girls. I don't think they were massage. Yeah, exactly. I think they were just regular girls that were like supposed to be given sports massages. And he's like, "Ah, while you're there, while you're at my calf, can you come up a little bit? Come a little to the left, a little more to the left. Oh, right there." So I think
yeah,
that was part of it. And you listen. If there's 28 stories, it's like a roach. If you see one roach, there's 800 roaches. If he had
yeah,
48 cases, there's 480 cases. So this guy had a problem. He had a sex problem, obviously, because he's Deshaun Watson, and he can walk into any club or any bar, I would think, and say, "Listen, I make 300 million in my career. Who wants to go home with me?" And I'm sure there'd be a line of women that would do it. So this guy just has probably a sex addiction, I would think. And and how many of these girls did it more than one time and now they're complaining? And that's the problem I have. Listen, if someone made you do something, that's horrible, and God forbid, jail time. But like with Hugh Hefner, for example, he wait till this guy dies, and then you say, "Oh, he touched me here." For 9 years, he molested me. For every day I came to the office, he molested me for 9 years. Well, I don't know. After a year, maybe you just quit your job and find another job. But obviously, it wasn't an issue then. Now he's died. He died, and he can't defend himself, and now it's an issue.
right.
That's shit. That's horseshit.
Poor
That's how I.
Mark loves Hugh Hefner. Boy, he keeps bringing that up. Listen, I think there's something about the massage, taboo of it. You know what I mean? There is a lot to say psychologically about that because the difference here's a guy that could obviously get laid. It's not like he's having a hard time, but for some reason it's that motion. Like he may be gay. He may have something in him that he's gay and he's You know what I mean? He doesn't want to go through the actual act of it. He just wants to be, taken care of. But you know what? Listen, again,
Maybe
like I
it's a
said,
non-fan. Hold on a second, Doug. Maybe it's a non-fan also. So it's like something. It's like you said, it's taboo. It's like someone that I can't get maybe all the time. I could someone I couldn't get. It's a professional person. It's kind of like Eddie Murphy. He had a transgender. And it's like he wants something that he normally can't get. And I guess that's what it is. Who knows?
yeah.
For me, but obviously it was for him.
Well, he got a lot of massages, and it's funny. You picture, like because I know the difference between a massage where you're going to get a happy ending and the ones you don't. But the ones there are those times where you go to a massage and it's a good looking girl, and you're like, oh my god, and they give you this big towel, and you're like, well, really, and you don't. I don't wear underwear underneath. I wear nothing. They put a towel over me. But then, a guy like Deshaun Watson, next thing you know, he starts getting a boner. He starts using the dick to move his towel off him.
See, with you, here's the difference. Here's the difference, Doug. With you can use a little hand towel. With him, he has to have a full bathtub. You can use like those little face towels, and it's still covered.
I don't even need it. 99%. All I need is a tissue. Like when you cut yourself with a razor, you just put that little thing there. That's all I put it on my dick.
He's going how to a full thing. So compare you to a lot of different comparisons on that one.
Yeah, he had a king size bed sheet. It's funny.
Doug gets besides like, oh, look how cute that is. Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, it's a nice little button. I speaking of sex, this is a great story. Leaked barracks orgy video gets hundreds of British paratroopers barred from NATO mission. This is a great story. You got to Google it if you haven't read it. But you have a whole barracks of these, elite forces from the British Army. They're paratroopers. They jump out and they land and they invade. Well, they stick together because in that local town, they got this young woman to come back to the barracks on more than multiple, like 30 different occasions. Could you imagine being this one woman? They it was a big kaboom. Or they call it an orgy. That's not an orgy. That's a gangbang. No, orgies when there's multiple, sexes and yeah,
maybe 2010 that could be, but 21 is not. That's not definitely not that.
Yeah. So when you have one woman and 40, I don't know how many guys are in a barrack. I don't know, like 30, 40. You have 30, 40 guys all jumping in on her. And can you imagine when this girl goes back home to her husband or boyfriend? She goes, "How was your day, love?" "Oh, I was out with some of the lads." Meanwhile, when she walks, she whistles like a flute.
I mean, that's just, to me, that's disgusting. Actually, I mean, I that's disgusting. I mean, for the girl and the guys. I mean, who wants to be that? It's borderline homosexual. I mean, you 39 other guys naked with one girl. It's like, I don't know. That's nothing.
Listen, if I'm in a gangbang and I'm waiting to, listen, first of all, when you're in a gangbang, you want to be early in the line. You know what I mean?
It's
kind of like when you get on a plane.
You know a lot about this, Doug. There's a lot of information.
To be honest with you.
Hopefully you were one of the guys and you weren't the single person.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Who's next? No, but you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if you're going to be in a gangbang, just get there early. And
listen, for the crowd, give everybody some good gangbang advice. I mean, let's just have some one tidbit of good gangbang advice. I bring extra tissues, whatever the advice you want. Here's your time to shine. Just give one advice.
That's right.
Because there's people out there maybe going to a gangbang tonight. So maybe they're saying,
or an orgy.
I wish Doug would give you one piece of advice. What's the piece of advice you would give?
Yeah. First of all, you definitely want to wash your ass. You know what I mean? You want to clean you want to, trim yourself. You want to look good down there. Number one. You definitely want to shit and piss and get that all over with, right? Secondly, when you're at the gangbanger orgy, you don't want to be like stretching your arms around and loosely. You don't want to have your hand grab a guy's dick by mistake. You know what I mean? You want to keep your hands kind of like tight to vest. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you want to get right to the front of the line. It's like the people trying to get on an airplane. You know what I mean? Everybody's like rushing to get on the fuck. That's who you got to be. If you're in a gangbang, you got to be right.
It's kind of like a buffet.
Yeah.
A buffet.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Scraps left.
And if you're not the first person, I would definitely not perform oral. You don't want to be in a gangbang and go, "Oh, I really liked it." No, you don't.
That's enough advice. My parents listen to this. That's enough advice.
I'm just saying, just no kissing. No kissing.
After about 22 minutes of the show, just don't turn the show off after 22 minutes. I want you to leave this part of it. And happy Father's Day, Dad, by the way. Okay.
Yes.
So we got past the
Y-
gangbangs, and I think that was actually our last.
Is
We
it?
we actually ended with a bang. We ended we ended
Yes,
the whole podcast with a
with a
bang. We did.
gangbang. We ended with a gangbang.
That's hilarious. That being said, our show is done. And you know what? I always have fun with Dougie, man. He's a great comedian. So it's like I always thought I was a pretty funny guy until I talked to Doug, and then I find out I'm not as funny as he is. It's like being a baseball player, and you know you're a decent player, but then you see a major league player throw a 100
Yeah,
mile an hour fastball. You're like, I'm decent. I'm a good funny guy. But
yeah.
Doug is a really funny guy, and he's a professional. If you get a chance, you should really see him. I've seen him at least 25, 30 times, and every show has been amazing. It's great. And yeah, Doug, where are you going to be at?
Well, first I want to say thanks to Steve Trevino, great headlining comedian around the country, and I got to work with him this weekend, and I'll be opening for him more on occasion now, which is exciting in the major clubs around the country. I'm going to be at Laugh-In Comedy Cafe in Fort Myers, July 7th through the 9th. And then, of course, don't forget our next show at Tavolino's in Coral Springs with Greg Hahn as the headliner. Myself and Jamie Blanchett is our feature. August 10th in August in South Florida. Be back in Florida then. I don't have a place to crash anymore. In the meantime, I'm at an Airbnb that week. So, but I got to talk to you because I may have to stay at your place the night before I go to the airport.
You can stay at my house. Not a problem. All right, man. That being said, what I do, you know what I do. I buy and sell baseball cards, comic books, watches, rings, gold, silver, anything, man. Anything of value. If you have an artwork, you have something of value, and you want to, find out what it's worth, you come to my shop at 418 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Not only will I buy it from you, I'll show you what it's worth. A lot of people, you go in there like, I'll give you $50 for it, and that's it. I'll take you on the computer.
Mark, hey, Mark, let me ask you, Mark, I have to ask you, do you have to call an expert? Do you have to call an expert like on Pawn Stars? Do you have to call an
I'll be
expert?
honest. It depends on what it is, Doug, to be honest with you. I mean, with today's technology, and I know a lot because I've been doing it for so long. I don't know everything, obviously, but I know a lot. And, with today's technology with computers and everything and recognition with your phone where you can kind of take a picture and it shows, it's pretty easy to find out what everything's worth. I mean, there is certain things, that I do ask what they are, and I have help. I have 4 or 5 people that work here that actually know different things than I know, but I'm pretty knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. And if I can't, the computer can figure it out, to be honest with you. And
Cool.
we have no problem showing you what things are worth and paying you a fair price. So if you have anything, bring by, man. Come by and say hi to me, and we'll buy it. We'll buy it on the spot. That being said, great time, great show, Doug. It's always a pleasure. Anytime you need a place to stay, you always have my house, my brother. All
Thank
right.
you.
Peace out, my brother. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you guys.
Watch and share.